And I don't know how I'm going to vote, but this thing is woven together from three different pieces right now. You have the original motion, which nobody really understands the impact of. You have an amendment to the motion, then there's an amendment to the amendment of the motion. And we're not sure what we're voting on right now, but we know we're all supposed to vote yes because it's been thrust upon us like this. I yield.
Today's episode takes us inside a tense congressional committee debate, a conversation about transparency, accountability, and the protection of victims. At the center of the discussion was a proposal from Congressman Robert Garcia. His amendment aimed to narrow a bill so that disclosures of harassment settlements would focus specifically on members of Congress rather than staff. The idea was simple. If taxpayer money had been used to settle harassment claims involving elected officials, the public deserved to know. But as the debate unfolded, members realized the issue wasn't so simple. Congresswoman Virginia Foxx offered a compromise.
If Mr. Garcia might take a friendly amendment to his amendment, if there is concern about transparency related to non-members, could we ask in the amendment that we get a report on an amount of money that might have been given out in relationship to non-members?
She said.
Instead of publicly detailing every staff-related settlement, she suggested something more cautious. The committee should still receive a report showing how much money had been paid out to non-members, meaning staff, without necessarily exposing individuals. Her goal was transparency without unintentionally exposing victims. Other members supported the idea. They worried that if the public only saw numbers related to members of Congress, people might assume all settlements involved lawmakers, when in reality many cases involved staff-to-staff misconduct. A report showing the total amount paid to staff-related cases would help the committee understand the full scope of the problem. If those numbers looked significant, the committee could later investigate further. But then the conversation took a more personal turn. One congresswoman shared her own experience with workplace harassment. She warned that releasing too much detail, even indirectly, could discourage victims from reporting abuse. In small offices,
especially when you're younger, okay? We're at a time in our lives for my fellow sisters in service here. But for younger staff members, this is scary to think about any of this information coming out because no matter what you all think, it will impact their future prospects.
She said people could easily figure out who the victim was, even if names weren't released. For young staffers, especially women early in their careers, that risk could be terrifying. The fear of being identified might silence people who should feel safe speaking up. So the committee found itself facing a difficult balance: transparency for the public, accountability for powerful officials, and protection for victims. The compromise eventually took shape.
The amendment is typed up. Everyone should have the amendment to the amendment, and I will read it. The Fox amendment included will also be an annualized list of the amounts of awards and settlements paid to or on behalf of non-member staff. So that's the amendment to the amendment. Does anyone else want to debate the amendment to the amendment? If not, Dr. Fox?
The amendment would focus public disclosures on members of Congress, but the committee would also receive annualized data showing how much settlement money had been paid on behalf of staff. This would give lawmakers the information they needed without exposing victims. But not everyone was satisfied. Congressman Clay Higgins stood up, changing the whole view about what was being spoken and raised procedural objections. He warned that the committee was drifting away from its normal process. Congressman Clay Higgins spoke with clear frustration.
Like every time we have a hearing now, an opportunity to be recognized is going to be some sort of grandstanded subpoena, whether by the majority or the minority. I think it's beneath the dignity and the procedures of this subpoena process that is long-standing, established by this committee, and the hard work that the committee staff does to accomplish.
He warned that Americans watching the hearing might think Congress had no system for handling harassment complaints. But, he said, that simply wasn't true. Since 2018, the House has had an administrative process run through the Office of General Counsel. In most cases, members of Congress aren't even directly involved. Complaints go through review, and if they pass that stage, they can move to federal court where a member can defend themselves. Higgins said the committee's current approach ignored that structure. Instead of following normal procedures, a subpoena and multiple amendments were suddenly being debated on the spot.
And I don't know how I'm going to vote, but this thing is woven together from three different pieces right now. You have the original motion, which nobody really understands the impact of. You have an amendment to the motion, then there's an amendment to the amendment of the motion. And we're not sure what we're voting on right now, but we know we're all supposed to vote yes because it's been thrust upon us like this.
First there was the original motion, then an amendment, then an amendment to the amendment. Now, he argued, members were being asked to vote when many weren't even sure what the final measure actually was. To Higgins, that wasn't careful oversight. It felt rushed, chaotic, and stitched together in real time. Another member agreed, calling the situation a circus and warning that serious legislative processes were being reduced to political theater. For Higgins, the issue wasn't only the proposal itself, it was the process, which he believed had already gone off track. As the debate closed, the tension remained. Congressman Clay Higgins warned the process was becoming chaotic, while others argued transparency was necessary. So the real questions remain. Is the current system actually working? Can Congress be transparent without putting victims at risk? And when lawmakers disagree on the process, who ensures accountability? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more insights like this.